Hello, it is I. Now 9 times out of 10, quirky car features are usually just a gimmick, something to show off to your passengers, or just a feature that entertains you when you're bored. However, some quirky features on cars have proven to be genuinely useful. They're features nobody asked for but we never knew we needed. Some of these help to make driving safer, some can make supercars more practical, whereas others save you a lot of time and labour. So here are 10 quirky car features which just make sense. Now before getting into this video, would you look at that? My phone's ringing. Let me pick it up. Oh wait, hang on, this isn't my phone. I guess I was just trying to converse to you that you haven't pressed the like button yet, or subscribe. These aren't making sense anymore. 4,000 likes is the target as per usual. Liking the video helps out so much more than you can imagine, and it's free. And seeing as over half of you guys watching right now have not subscribed, do consider subscribing to the channel. We are on the road to 200k and I love having new faces here in the channel. Thank you very much, and now let's get into the first car, which is the Audi A2. The A2 was introduced in 1999 as a compact MPV super mini car designed by the same person who designed the Lamborghini Murcielago, which is a pretty unexpected fact. Anyways, the car, despite looking like a toaster, was actually super impressive, as it could supposedly hit 100 miles per gallon. Yep, with a 1.2 litre diesel engine, no hybrid technology. One of the main factors as to how impressive this car's fuel economy was due to how lightweight the car was, weighing under 900 kilograms. The reason why the A2 was so light is because it lacked many luxuries and even necessities which you'd find on every other car, including bonnet hinges. Yep, this car had no bonnet hinges, meaning if you wanted to work on your engine, you literally had to take off the bonnet. This takes popping the bonnet to a whole nother level. Anyways, this meant you had much more space to work on your car's engine without the fear of the bonnet shutting on you and the bonnet rod getting in your way. Very smart thinking. Now you might be thinking that'll take a lot of effort. What if I wanted to quickly top up my windscreen washer fluid? I don't want to spend 5 minutes trying to take off the bonnet. Well, Audi thought this through, as quick access essential engine bay items like the windscreen washer reservoir, oil reservoir and dipstick were accessible without removing the bonnet. Now that is genius. The McLaren F1. Now the McLaren F1 is arguably the greatest car ever created. A mid-engine, naturally aspirated V12 supercar sending over 600 brake horsepower to the rear wheels, paired to a 6-speed manual gearbox with dihedral doors, a pure gold engine bay with quad exhaust tips. Ah man, there's so much to love about this car. I mean, the car was very famous and well known for many things, one of its most iconic features being its central seat layout, to mimic the feel that you're driving an actual Formula 1 car, which is so cool. And with the central seat layout comes a very useful upside as well, as there's space for 2 passengers instead of just 1, as you can slot 2 seats behind the central driver's seat, allowing space for 3 people to fit inside this cramped little hypercar. Now sure, it wouldn't have been comfortable sitting on those seats, but it does make the car all the more practical. And another upside to this central seat layout is that if the company wanted to sell this car worldwide, they wouldn't have to create left-hand drive or right-hand drive models, thus saving the company money with production. So you gotta give props to McLaren for managing to save money, make a hypercar practical, and make the driver feel like they're in Formula 1. I really hope to see more manufacturers adopting the seating layout. The Nissan Maxima. The Maxima may seem like a boring car with no interesting quirks about it, but the 2nd gen Maxima is a completely different story, as it was quite a high-tech car in terms of features, because the car literally speaks to you. Yep, unlike most cars that give an annoying time, the Maxima from the 80s literally talks.
Lights are on.
That is so cool. Now you might be thinking this is a gimmick to show off, but it's actually surprisingly useful. I mean, we've all been in that situation where you're in the car and the door light is open and you don't know which door's been left open, so everybody has to open each door until the light goes off, which can be pretty dangerous. While the Maxima lets you know which door has been left open, as when you're driving it tells you whether it's the left door or right door, saving you from having to open every single door in the car. However, nowadays the car doesn't tell you which doors have been left open, it instead shows you, which is still very useful. But come on, we can all agree that the car speaking to you is way cooler than showing you on the screen. The Citroen DS. Now Citroens are packed full of very fun, quirky features, and the car that started this was the DS. And a lot of the features in the DS were genuinely useful too, from directional headlights to a semi-automatic gearbox, all the way to its hydro-pneumatic suspension. Now a lot of people love this suspension system because of how smooth the ride is. I mean, Rolls-Royce took this exact same system and used it in their cars. But the system also has another upside to it, which is that you could drive this car with 3 wheels with no problem. This is innovation at its finest. And if you wanted to change the car's wheel, then the suspension can automatically raise the car's wheel up, making replacing the wheel easier, which is just genius. The Tesla Model 3. Now a quirky car features video would not be complete without a Tesla, as their cars have some very quirky features, from dog mode to sentry mode to bioweapon defense mode, to autopilot to karaoke, all the way to what Tesla calls summon mode, where you could drive the car from the Tesla app without even sitting inside of your car. Now this might seem like a gimmick to show off to your friends and relatives, but it's actually a pretty useful feature, especially in the UK, as over here car garages built into houses are tiny, as they were made back when Brits used to drive little MGBs and TR6s, but now we drive big modern cars which only just squeeze into these tiny garages. So if you're the owner of a Tesla with a narrow garage, you could use this summon feature to drive your car out of your garage without even getting inside it, which is genius. And if tight garages aren't a problem to you, then you can reverse your car out of tight parking lots. So yeah, driving a car from an app isn't as gimmicky as people make it out to be. It's actually pretty smart. The BMW Z1. Now some doors open outwards, some open backwards, some open upwards, some open downwards, some slide backwards, and others do whatever this thing is doing. But imagine how useful it would be if your door could just disappear. Well, BMW was thinking the same thing. So with the Z1, they included doors that slide downwards and disappear, making getting inside and out of your car easier. Kind of, I don't know. The 5th gen Mercedes SL. Now windscreen wipers have a pretty annoying problem which nobody really mentions, which is that when you use a windscreen washer sprayer thing, it covers certain areas of the windscreen which the wipers can't reach, meaning you'd have to drive with unwiped soap residue on your windscreen, which can obstruct your view, and even result in a windscreen full of water spots. So Mercedes thought of a genius system to eliminate this, which was by embedding the windscreen washer nozzle into the wiper itself, thus cleaning the windshield without obstructing your view or wasting any water. They called this Magic Vision Control and it debuted on convertible cars off their lineup, like the SL, but it's made its way onto many other Mercedes family cars too, like the S-Class, which is very nice to see. The Honda Odyssey. The Odyssey was a minivan created by Honda in 1995, which they are still making to this day. And if you know anything about minivans, then you know that they are prominently driven by mums, Karens, women who request to speak to the manager for no apparent reason. And Honda knew about this demographic, so with the Odyssey minivan in 2018, they tried to make it as parental as possible. For example, there's a surveillance camera that points to the rear seats, which leads to a screen, of which the mum could spy on the kids to see if they make any TikToks. There's also a built-in vacuum cleaner, as having kids inside of a car leads to a lot of mess, like muddy footprints, food crumbs, vomit, so having a vacuum cleaner at the ready inside of your car can be a pretty useful feature. And also some Odyssey minivans come with a microphone that connects to a loudspeaker, so you can tell your passengers to stop being annoying without the need to turn around and shout. So this may not be useful for the average person, but to the average mum this is so essential. The Citroen C6. In the UK and in a lot of countries I believe, on the motorways there's a little rumble strip to alert distracted drivers in case they lose focus and swerve off the road, which is pretty smart thinking. But of course this isn't available in some countries, so Citroen thought of an interesting way of keeping inattentive drivers alert, which is by putting a vibrator in the seat. Okay ladies, before you get too excited, it's not what you think, as when you're driving and you cross a white line without indicating, the little vibrator motor goes off in the seat to remind you to either indicate or be alert, which is very smart thinking. In fact, this is better than a rumble strip, as rumble strips are usually only found on one line, whereas this lane departure warning system applies for all lines on a motorway. So let's hope this makes its way onto more consumer cars in the future to help make driving on the road safer. And that's the end of the video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. If you want to see more videos just like this one, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We are trying to hit 200k by the end of this year, so any help would be greatly appreciated. Also leave a comment down below, it helps out a lot with the YouTube algorithm and I'll try and get to as many of you people as I can. Thank you very much and I'll catch up with you guys very soon. Until next time, have a good one guys, stay safe, stay inside, till next time. Cheers.
My dinero's what I'm out to get. Sombrero, I get hat and then I'm out again. Got an A1 Chica with a drive like a 3 litre, that's what she needs D4 like the outfit.